Hello everyone, welcome back to this episode of Oztober. So if you are new here, Oztober is the fall series that I'm doing every single Wednesday, and we're going until November. So it's another gloomy day out and it just feels so fall. Like my skeleton just chilling in the background. I love today's episode. So we're about to go inside and we're going to be making a dairy-free iced pumpkin spice. It would not be a Sam Oztober if we didn't attempt a new pumpkin spice recipe. So this one I want to do oat, and then I'm going to do an oat whipped cream on top. And then I'm having a special guest on today's YouTube video. So this Oztober, I wanted to do different things. Like, there's still going to be recipes, like you're getting a recipe today and there's going to be recipes throughout the series, but I want to also, like, my theme for this Oztober, like when I was really thinking about it, like what do I really want to do? And I was thinking like moms after dark. That sounded wrong, but like, you know what I mean? Like when your kids are sleeping, maybe they're napping, maybe they're at school, and this is your time, like your time to just sit and have a coffee chat, hang out. And so I wanted to bring another really inspiring mom on my YouTube channel. Her name is Mari Juliette. A lot of you guys will know her from TikTok. She has a huge following there, like 500,000 followers there, and she shares everything from like skincare, working out, to her main thing, which is real estate. So she does, like, instead of selling Sunset in LA, she does selling South Florida, and she has so many inspiring real estate tips and just growing $1 million business on her own. So I was actually on her podcast, so I'll leave that episode down below. Afterwards, we just hung out in her car and we just had a coffee chat, like something you could literally just sit back, relax. She shares like investing tips, like if you want to do your first investment, she shares really good tips with that, balancing stress and mom life and staying in shape and all of that. So I think you guys will really like the episode, and let's get started with the vlog. My dairy-free iced pumpkin spice. And the irony in all of this is that I didn't actually use ice, but I did use cold coffee. You can also use cold brew. And you want to do 1 cup of coffee, a cup of your favorite non-dairy milk, 2 tablespoons of pumpkin, maple syrup to taste, pumpkin spice seasoning, and blend it all up. What I love about this is you could just make extra and add it in a mason jar and store it in the fridge and just have it the next day. I also really did like this oat whipped cream. It was so delicious. Let me know if you guys try it.
I could never get it right.
I didn't know if this was a podcast where it's recorded.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Some of them you could roll up in like sweatpants.
Oh yeah, for sure. I did one literally like on the way home yesterday. I was like, let me just like talk into my phone. But I love doing it where it's not on video, so I can look like shit.
I know. Me too. So Mari's got the coolest mom car.
I was like dropping all the trash out of it.
Drink coffee?
Yes, and that's actually one of my... Do I drink coffee?
I was like, I should have brought coffee with me.
No, I just had some. But I was gonna ask you, that's one of my first questions to ask you.
Is it
like,
really?
What's your coffee order?
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm just gonna hold it. I feel like you can't really tell too much.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So this is Mari, and she's a realtor in, well, actually more than a realtor. Tell them what you do.
So I'm a real estate broker. I own a real estate brokerage in Pompano Beach, right on the water.
Yeah, and so what's like the biggest difference between being a realtor, like your day-to-day, and then being the broker? Because you started as a realtor.
Yeah, it's so different. You go from, every day as a realtor is completely different. So you're like showing houses, sending out properties, trying to get new clients, prospecting, marketing, all that stuff. Once you become a broker, you can be a broker associate and still, you know, manage a team, or you just have more knowledge. But if you are a true broker and you have a business license, you have to manage that business. So I have to have a physical location.
Yeah.
I have to pay like all of the expenses. I have all of the liability. So if an agent gets sued, I get sued. If an agent gets in trouble, I get in trouble.
So it's like big girl. It's your big girl job.
It is. It's like a lot of putting out fires. But I have been in this transition mode of doing both. And now I'm like really just the broker. And it is a little different for me.
Yeah, it's just like you're rewarded financially being the head honcho, but then also you do have more responsibilities.
More stress. It's like less of the stress of my clients calling all day long.
Okay.
And more the stress of like making sure everyone's on point and that the clients are actually happy and
So
that
like
we
the
get
back
repeat
end.
business.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 repeat clients under contract right
Yay!
now, which is like the best feeling ever.
Oh, I love that. That's like for an influencer too. It's like if you can work with the same brand over and over again, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's perfect.
Yeah. Then, okay, so my other question, I wrote some down for you since you just talked about the stress. So I'm learning all about hormones and like hormone imbalances in women, and that like everything can affect it, from like when we have our coffee in the morning, if we have it after food, or just toxic products. So the biggest one is stress, and especially moms that work are very stressed out. How do you balance that and then going to being a mom?
I feel like I have so many nights where I'm up with anxiety. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of my work stress happens when you do have that quiet time, when like your kids go to sleep.
Yes.
And you're done for the day and you're like, oh my God, like what's gonna happen tomorrow? Working out is like number one. Yesterday I was so tired and I was like, I feel like shit today, but I know that if I work out by the end of the week, like consecutively, I'm gonna feel like a different person.
And what workouts do you do?
I do all weight training now. I used to do cardio intense. Like in college, I would run like 7 miles a day.
Wow.
I was like really intense about it. But I'm like naturally lanky, like Gumby body.
Darn,
So
I wish
I'm like,
that were me.
I'm trying to get a little booty. I'm trying to keep the boobs after 2 kids. I'm like, how do we like not run these off the track?
Oh, I need a lift. I need someone to just come in.
But I feel like if you work out for your mind and you just do it, like I enjoy it. I almost like do it as, sometimes I have to wait to work out later in the day to like gift myself the workout.
Yeah, no, I see that too. Because in the morning you're just like, I'm getting it in, but then I have shit to do.
Then I like, you're like on that like time track and I'm like, let me get the annoying shit I have to do done with work, and then I'll like treat myself with a workout, which sounds so like, oh my God, how is that your treat? But I really, it's like my one time to be not needed by anybody, by clients, kids, you know, that's when I really do. I'm like, do not disturb. Like I don't want to be answering emails and all this stuff while I'm working out. Like that's my 1 hour to just be in the zone.
And it's treating like your mind. Like it is a treat. It's self-care. Self-care doesn't have to just be running a bubble bath. It could also be that, like a workout, and also learning about hormones. Your old style of working out, like running and all that, is actually putting stress on your hormones. And lifting weights and Pilates and like slower movements, yoga, weightlifting, and even like some HIIT is better for women.
I didn't know that.
Than like high intensity cardio. It's like it puts strain on our cortisol levels. Could actually make our bodies feel stressed.
Wow. Well, I heard that it's like bad for your knees, like bad for your body. I'm like, I think I'm doing this great thing every day and it's not so good. I also used to run to the beach every day and I started getting chest wrinkles from the sun. And I'm like, all right, as much as I love the ocean, I can't do this.
No. I have on here, you're a real estate agent first, but you're also kind of like an influencer too on TikTok. Yeah, like you get to play best of both worlds in that you get to like show skincare and your day and the life, but you're not relying on sponsorships for your income.
No, not at all. Like I stopped doing brand deals or anything like that like a year and a half ago, pretty much when I started my business, because I was like, I can't focus on both. And I remember doing a FabFitFun.
Yeah, I worked with that too.
And I was like, this is like my dream collaboration. And by the time I got that collaboration, like you were saying on the podcast, like you want to do stuff at 100% or not at all. And I'm the same way. And I remember doing that post, and my assistant at the time was like, this is like 3 weeks late. Like it was just like a shit show. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like I can't do this 50% BS, let me send you this shitty picture. Like, I don't want to represent myself that way. So I had to make that decision. But I figured out how to monetize it you know, in the best way that also helps the people who work for the brokerage.
Yes.
Any business that comes in, we work on it together.
Right. And I mention this because I think a lot of women too, they want to be influencers, but don't necessarily want that to be their job. Like, they want to share skincare. Like, I have so many subscribers like, oh, I want to share my day-to-day, but I really love my job as a yoga teacher. I really love my job as a realtor. But you're kind of showing you can do both, and you can let your future clients get to know you without that being your income.
Yeah, I mean, and it's fun. Like, I wouldn't really be doing the social media stuff on the side of a real job if it wasn't fun for me too. And when I started using it for real estate, I just realized after looking at other people's pages, like, okay, everybody that gets their license starts a new page that's all houses. And I'm like, why? You know, that's boring to me.
It's
to
so
see the same
boring.
thing over and over and over again. So I try to put myself in other people's shoes. Like, what would I want to see? And really show people, okay, this is my true lifestyle in South Florida. If you want to move here, like, I'm going to be the person you think of, because I'm like the advocate of South Florida.
Yeah,
like,
you
it's
are
the best.
the queen of South Florida.
But anything like even celery juice, doing the stupid dance moves, like, that's really what's kind of like built the following, more so than just like real estate advice and tips.
But don't
like
you
that.
think it indirectly builds your business?
Yes.
Because someone sees you, maybe from a trending video. My other question was, and I guess it goes with this, it was how you hit 500,000 on TikTok.
A lot of posting.
Yeah.
Like, I was posting 5-6 times a day, but I feel like the momentum that I had with that was great because it was all during work hours. Like, I would be on my way to a showing, take a quick video. Oh, I have an inspection that's 3 hours long, like, I'll do a live. Like, it was always just like in the middle of whatever I was already doing, and it was so effective that way because it's so authentic. Now when it's like, if I'm like, oh, I've got to sit and like make content, it doesn't convert like that.
I even think that with YouTube too. It's like, yeah, you want to be professional and show up on the day you're going to show up, but I'd rather bring people like this, like like I was genuinely on your podcast, and I'm like, you want to be in my YouTube video?
Right, like we happen to be doing this and like living life and not living life from inside.
Yeah, and I tell my husband that too, who's doing mortgages on Instagram. It's like, well, you want to show people the lifestyle of where you do mortgages. Like, he does them in Florida and New York. So it's like what you're showing too. Like, yeah, you want to buy a house from me, and like, look at how much fun I have living here.
Right, exactly. And here are the places that you can go if you live here. And I am very passionate about South Florida in general, just being from here.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to be like, da, 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 da.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
once I get somebody on the phone, I'm like, okay, this is where you're going to buy, da, da, da. And I think that's been the most rewarding thing for me, is like putting out stuff that's like silly and jokey and whatever. And then once I get somebody on the phone, they're like, okay, you know what you're doing. I feel like I can trust you. You know your shit. So
it's like your shtick to get them in.
Yeah.
And because real estate and mortgages, it could be like boring and all of that, but it's like, oh, this can make it fun. It's stressful too for the clients.
Yes.
Like, I just bought a house, it's stressful.
Yeah, and when you buy a house with somebody, as you know, you're with them for months at a time. So it's almost like a relationship.
Yes.
And when I hire people, I think, would my clients want to spend hours of their time with this person? If not, then they won't work for me. But if they are like a cool, fun person to hang out with, on top of being professional and on top of being on point, then it's like a good match.
Real estate predictions. I know a lot of girls on my channel recently bought houses, and it's very exciting seeing your houses go up in value or just a little dip when it's supposed to be a bigger dip. But like, what do you think? Do you think more millennials are going to buy houses with friends? Do you think, like, what do you see as a real estate prediction?
So for a prediction in South Florida, our season is pretty predictable. It's,
okay.
Like, the summer is always very slow.
Okay.
And for some reason this summer specifically, I like to get out in the field too. Like, I'm going to ask restaurant owners, people in different businesses, how has your business been? It was really slow in the summer. It's picked up in the last like month, but like October, November, December, January, pretty much to April is our season. So that's when, like, without a doubt, there will be tourists here. There will be more competition, which is why I keep telling people, like, buy in the summer, because that's when you can negotiate.
I know.
Investors are much younger. So like you said, people are more interested in that type of content.
Yep.
And content really does affect the market in real time.
Okay.
So the things that like people are putting out on YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff, when I get calls, they'll reference those videos because it really does affect how they invest, how they view the market, if they're willing to buy right now or not. A lot of it depends on what their favorite influencer said about it, even if they're not in real estate.
So if like influencers, like a lot of influencers I feel like move to Austin, Texas, so then maybe that brings more investors' eyeballs to Austin, Texas,
like
or
Texas
Miami.
is booming right now.
Yeah.
Miami is booming.
I think a lot of people see the appeal of renting because you can get something nicer when you rent, because usually prices they're better for a rental than buying. Buying you have to put down money, and usually your payment might be a little higher. But how can you convince somebody, like your elevator pitch, quick pitch on why millennials should buy?
If you buy like a duplex and you're house hacking and maybe you don't have the income right now to pay for a whole house yourself.
Yes, yeah.
Don't ever feel ashamed or like that's not good enough, or don't like don't set the bar too high with your initial investments that you don't do it at all. My first duplex I shared with 3 other people. So I only put 12 grand into it, but that was me getting my feet wet and getting comfortable investing without a huge like liability also. Because I'm like, I don't want this whole responsibility on my shoulders, managing tenants, all that stuff. Everyone hears of house hacking, but I mean, I saw in my own family, like we had to move back into a duplex at rough times, like in the market, and move out of our house. So that can be a safety net for you. If you can start putting that money into your own investment, not into your landlord's pocket, you don't have to be this crazy like, oh, I'm like an extreme real estate investor, I'm gonna charge the most money and all this stuff. Like you can start small, keep the tenant that's already there when you buy the property, work on the property, put your own sweat equity in. I think that's the most valuable thing for young investors that they're not taking advantage of, is putting the money into the and putting the work into the property. My parents, they're like in their 60s and 70s and they'll still like paint their own investment properties. I love that. You save so much money, and I think a lot of the content out there right now is delegate everything. But I think in this economy, don't be afraid to do a lot of the stuff yourself, because you can do a lot of cosmetic work yourself to a property and make a lot of money on it. But if you're pouring everything into the construction, like that can get really expensive and you might not see that return. But be resourceful is my point.
Well, like if I were on TikTok, for example, like we have a rental property and TikTok would tell me that I need to get a management and all this, me and Jared run it together.
Right.
What is your biggest beauty tip that you got from TikTok?
That I got from TikTok?
Yeah.
Wait, I feel like I do have a good one. Let me think.
Because TikTok's fun for that. Like,
it is fun for that.
Like, you know how like people are doing their hair all weird and waking up with the curls? Like,
so
stuff like that.
I was starting to do like a postpartum glow up because I was just feeling like dirt. And I got one of those things and used it for the first time. It works.
The curls?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta get, I
was in shock because I don't know how to do my hair.
Me neither.
In South Florida, you're literally sweating.
Yeah, I get a blowout. I go to dry bar.
I always wonder why your hair looks so good.
Yeah, dry bar.
I feel like I know you for having amazing hair.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
no, I dry bar.
Okay, I need to do that. The thing that I do the most is drink celery juice. I like have been super consistent with that.
And look at her skin.
Thank you. I was breaking out so much last week. Started drinking celery juice again, and it got me back on track. The hair thing works. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You know what I did use from that Charlotte Tilbury magic filter thing that people always use?
The bronzer or the blush?
I love that one. It's like the highlighter, I think. People use it as face makeup, but I use it as highlighter.
Made me break out.
Yeah, I can't use it all over my face. You know, I have an esthetician. But she tells me all the stuff that I can't use on my face. Yeah. And she's like a magician.
Send me her, because I like restrictions.
And she's in Fort Lauderdale. You're gonna be obsessed with her. She's very like direct too. I love going to people that tell me what to do. And
me too.
Like, do this. And that's it.
I didn't mean it in an unhealthy way, but I like when somebody's like, stop doing this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, I came with the Celsius. She's like, what the fuck are you drinking? She's like, you know that's breaking you out.
Okay, so since this is going live in my Oztober series, I'm all about like pumpkin spice. Are you into pumpkin spice? Are you ordering pumpkin spice? Do you make it at home?
I had one on Sunday, actually, and I got there from Starbucks.
Okay.
I actually do. I started getting the pumpkin spice when I was pregnant because I was like, I'm going to drink all the holiday drinks that I would never drink before. All the sugar, everything. I'm going to try them. Then I had a pumpkin spice latte. I was like, I understand why the basic bitches are after this pumpkin spice.
But what the hell? So many basic bitches are dairy-free. I'm dairy-free now. Okay, so no, the spice, the shit, the syrup is milk.
Stop.
Yeah,
is it really?
I went dairy free for my skin and all that.
I went dairy free like 5 or 6 years ago for my skin, and I never like went back.
Yeah, I've been dairy free before. This is an ongoing relationship.
Oh, and then I hear on TikTok, I was watching a TikTok the other day, and this girl's like, I had oat milk in my latte and I broke out all over my face. So then I started freaking out. I'm drinking an oat milk latte. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna switch to almond. My face was breaking out like crazy. I go to my esthetician, she's like, it's almond milk.
Why almond milk?
And too many oils or something like that. It just never ends.
That's why I literally packed my lunch today. I'm gonna sick of it, and I'm so afraid. Like, I get afraid of things. Like, when I get into my health journey, I get like afraid of things. Like, I will only drink this water.
Just that type of water.
Yeah, even when I go out for dinner, sometimes I bring my own.
She told me don't drink Perrier because you could break out from Perrier. I'm like,
I gotta see her. That sounds right
having
up
her
my
on the
alley.
podcast, so you have to come meet her.
Yes. Well, thank you for being on the YouTube channel. And everyone check out, it's Mari Juliette on everywhere.
MariJuliette.
And if you're buying or selling, reach out.
Ask me, I'll tell you everything there is to know from Miami to Palm Beach.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Thank you.
Don't
Bye.
be sorry, call Mari.